Hi, is there any problem? Ooh, you're having an issue connecting to a network. Well, I could do something about that. Well, we could help you out at least to fix 3 common network problems that you might encounter, especially when you're at home. So I'll be focusing on those top 3 things so that if ever that you encounter these issues, you will know what to do. So come on.
Okay, so let's go ahead with problem number 1. So problem number 1 is that there is a DNS issue in your network. So DNS issue means that when you're trying to access, like using your browser, so you're on your browser already, you're checking out websites, and then suddenly you have an error message saying that you can't reach this site, or can't reach this page, or can't display this page because of a possible DNS error. So what should we do when these issues occur on your network? So DNS first means domain name system. So domain name system refers to the website domain name. For example, for Google, it would be www.google.com, and then there would be a corresponding IP address. So in order for that www.google.com to be translated into an IP address, this is what the domain DNS is used for. And usually, if there's a corruption on the system, on your browser, on your network, or on the server itself, then you might encounter these kinds of issues. So in this case, what should we do? Well, we have several things that you need. First, you need to use, of course, Command Prompt Administrator in your computer. All of this troubleshooting would be applicable for Windows computer, okay? So in order for you to be fixing this, you need the Command Prompt Admin. So let's open it up, okay? So the Command Prompt Admin would be this one, okay? So on your Command Prompt Administrator, you would be having this big black box where you can type in commands. In order for you to troubleshoot some networks, you usually need to use this. So the first thing you need to do, okay, is to ping the website that you'd like to access. So pinging the website would at least indicate if there's a connection on your network. So if there's a connection on your network yet it doesn't load on the browser, then most likely there's something wrong with the DNS cache. So your browser cannot convert the domain name into an IP address because it's either it's corrupted or something happened to it. So what you'll need to do is to, of course, ping then www.google.com. So I am visualized like this, then most likely you have, and then still cannot display the page, then you could check if there's really a problem with your DNS. So when that happens, usually some of the first resolutions to be done is to at least restart the computer or restart the router. So restarting the router and modem would help out refresh the system, okay? And then after that, you could try to flush this DNS. Flushing the DNS would remove all the old cache data for the domain server. So you could type in there, and to do that, what you'll need to type in would be ipconfig/flush DNS. After flushing the DNS, you need to restart the computer in order for it to fully save settings. And then, if still that doesn't work, you need to go and open the network components on your computer. So this one will be it. And currently, if you can see here, I am connected through a Wi-Fi connection, and you could right-click on it or double-click to open it up. So right now, you could check as well the details. See. And then you would see here also your IP addresses, your default gateways, and other things. And then to at least check as well if there is something wrong with the DNS, you check on properties of this wireless card. You could go to the IPv4 settings, and from there you could click on properties of it. From there, you could check if it's obtaining IP address automatically. This one, you need to change to the to some of the possible open DNSs that are available there. So this one, if you are originally on use the following DNS server address, would turn it on back to the obtain server address automatically, or you could also use this as an alternative. You could use the Google DNS, which is 8.8.8.8 as its main server, okay? And then for the alternate one will be 1.8.4.4. So this is what we call the Google DNS server. But on the other hand, if you don't, if this was open DNS, it would be 208.67, and then 222 and another 222 as the preferred DNS server or the primary one, and the alternative DNS server would be 208.67.220 and 220. This one should allow it to work. And then if it still did not work, you change everything. You could also check your browsers if there's anything that's on the proxies. If there's a proxy server on it, you could change that as well. And then you could try to scan your computer too for any infections, because there are some infections out there that that somehow changes the DNS servers that somehow give you problems connecting to a network.
A second issue, tada! Okay, so our second issue is to be connected, yet you can't access the network. So it means that you are connected to the whole network. There's it's defined on your system, especially this is applicable for Wi-Fi connections, that you are connected. You see that there's a network. It's saying that it's connected on your network. Like for example here, it says connected secured. So what happens is that you are connected, yet it says here on your network no internet access, or there's like a yellow triangle sign on the side that with an exclamation point. So most likely you are experiencing that. So this happens if there's the computer could receive the IP address. There's something wrong with the IP address. The computer could not communicate. There's something wrong with the line, and yeah, sometimes the firewall. So in order for us to check or to troubleshoot this, you could do this possible things. So first of all, same thing of what we've done in using resolving the DNS issue. You need to use the IP the command prompt administrator, so the elevated command prompt in your Windows system. You could check if connection is using password, because if you change the password on main router, you change your password, you did not update it on your computer. There are some computers that of course doesn't update password automatically. So it happens that the router could not send the connection because something is blocking it, which is the password. Credentials is not accepting the information since yeah, it's the same, so there would be a problem on sending IP information from the router to the computer and vice versa. So still, if you could not access the internet, then the next thing that you need to do is your computer receiving the correct IP address, or command prompt, which is ipconfig. Some people use the ipconfig all in order for them to show all the the connections that are available on the computer. Or yeah, we're just gonna be using ipconfig since it would be able to give us the information regarding the connection that we have. We're using a wireless, so it would show here under wireless LAN adapter Wi-Fi that we are currently connected to a default gateway, which is 192.168.1.1 with an IPv4 address, which is then 192.168.1.7. So if this one is detecting the correct IP address that your router should be giving you, or this is the default network or the default IP gateway that your router has, then it means that you could access the internet. Okay, so if this one is showing a different thing, like it's a static IP address, then you could try to refresh it or at least change it. Okay, so what you can do here is to do the ipconfig. You can try to type in here ipconfig/release to namesake it to let go of the current IP address that you have. So this one would release the IP address that you have, and if you could see here under the wireless LAN adapter settings, there's no connection anymore. So and then when that happens, after that you need to renew it in order for the computer to detect the IP address again, which is IP using, and this is the command you need to use. This is ipconfig/renew. This is to renew the connection once again. So you have the correct IP addresses, and then still you have no connection, try to disable firewalls. Firewalls are somehow quite sensitive. There are some sensitive firewalls that you need to properly configure if it's a private network or a public network before they allow things to get in and out of the system. And check the driver of your computer. So if you could see here on my laptop, I have the Qualcomm Atheros. Make sure that this one are updated. You could check the manufacturer websites if there are any latest updates. Try to refresh as well your
your modem router, try to turn it off, turn it back on, like laptop as well, in order for everything to be refreshed again. And then if still issues still persist, you need to contact your local internet service provider in order for them to check if there's something, if there's really a downtime on the whole network that they have. Now, last or the third problem that I can help you out with. So, connecting wireless printers 4 and 5 gigahertz. So make sure that if you're trying to connect to a printer and then all of your other devices, other clients are using this a different network. For example, this computer and that computer is using 2.4 gigahertz, and then you connected your printer in a 5 gigahertz connection. So technically, though, they won't communicate since they have they are on two different signals. So for this one, in order for them to connect, in order for you to set up your printer correctly, make sure that your computer and your printers are connected to the same network. So you could check as well if your network is detecting or getting the IP address of the whole network properly. So for this one, you could go to the router page and check if to check what IP address it is, and then you could manually set it up on the printer. Well, usually printer companies also provide printing softwares for their products that would allow you to automatically detect and set up the IP addresses on this printer, on your computer or on your master server or your other clients in order for you to connect wirelessly. Okay, so you could check this on the control panel. Usually for this one, if it's connected to a network, you could check it under devices and printers. You could set, if everything is set up properly, you would be able to see it. And then you could actually add printer here. This printer, yet this computer or specific client that you have could not connect to that wireless client, which is the wireless printer that you have. Most likely you need to check as well the settings on your computer, and then check the firewalls. Usually firewalls are the one that tries to block wireless clients to get in, and then you may print, but if there's an exchange of information is not mutual, then yeah, you could have problems with it as well. And then the last thing, besides firewalls, check if there's any filters, if the file and printing sharing is on the networks, so that you could print your file for it. So yeah, well, those are the 3 things that you could check if ever that you're having problems connecting to a network. So these are resolutions for first, DNS problems. Second, can't connect to the internet, even though you are connected to a network yet you don't have internet access. And lastly, connecting wireless clients, especially printers. Well, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you have a great day.